Hello, friends. Today we're going on a journey to find ourselves and our inner strength. Today we're going to explore 10 of the most important aspects of Stoicism. Those who learn how to talk less in a world that never seems to stop. Quiet down. These people stand out not because they are loud, but because they profound effect. Are you ready to learn the tricks of the people who have learned the let's use the power of silence? Part 1. How to use strategic silence. Start by picturing yourself cool and collected in the middle of a storm. Swirls all around you. This is what our first trait, strategic silence, is all about. There's no point in being quiet just for the sake of it. Instead, you should know how powerful a well-placed pause can be. What happens when everyone speaks up in a heated argument or a crucial negotiation? When someone doesn't say anything, all eyes are on them all of a sudden. When there is silence, it's like a magnet that draws people's attention and makes them curious. This, my silence at work. But why is this so powerful? To use the words of the great Stoic thinker Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we listen twice as much as we talk. And when we choose quiet, we're not just trying to avoid something, words, but making room for people to observe, understand, and make. Not based on emotion, but on knowledge." Picture this. You're in a meeting, and someone asks you a tough question. You don't rush to come up with an answer right away. Instead, you taking a deep breath during that pause does more than just buy you time. It shows you're showing that you value thoughtful answers over quick ones by keeping quiet. This isn't strategic silence, not being passive at all. It's a choice and a powerful tool in your stout arsenal. It's about realizing that every word matters, and nothing at all is sometimes the most powerful thing you can say. But how do we? To improve this trait, start small the next time you're talking to someone. Try to hold off on reacting for 5 seconds while you feel the need to fill. Listen to the silence and then watch how this small change changes the mood. Remember that it gives you time to think about what to say before you say it. That's always buzzing. Your strategic silence can be a talent it possesses. Respect makes people curious and, most importantly, gives you room to deal with life with the calm and wise way a real Stoic would. Like Marcus Aurelius was smart when he said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events." Do this, and you'll find strength. Your planned silence shows this. Inner strength means you're in charge of yourself, not other people. Are you ready to use the power of secret silence to stay strong? Stay cool when life throws you a curveball. This is just the start of our journey into the traits of people who don't talk much. Stay with us as we learn more about Stoicism. One mindful moment at a time, this knowledge can change your life. Part 2. The power of listening. Carefully IIC silence. Now that we know how to do it right, let's start our second. It's not enough to just hear words. You need to actively listen. Really getting the idea behind them in a world where everyone understands people who don't talk as much have found a deep truth while fighting to be heard. Hearing is what gives things their power. When was the last time you felt, that's the gift, to be heard, not just nodded at but deeply understood? People who are good listeners bring a rare and valuable skill to every talk. I quote the great Stoic. Zeno said that since we only have 1 mouth and 2 ears, we should listen more than what we say. But why is this so important? Not only are we gathering data, but we're also making links, having understanding and learning things that can change the way we see things. Picture yourself during a heated argument, your first instinct might be to speak up to support your point of view. But what if you listen to put your pride aside and try to actively listen? You need to understand where the other person is coming from. There's action and it changes the game. Here's a task for you in your next: pay full attention to the other person. Don't think about what you're going to say next. Don't judge what they say. Just listen and pay attention to their tone, body language, and what you find out about the feelings people have behind the words they use might surprise you. It's not enough to just listen to other people. You also need to listen to yourself. When you're not in a hurry to talk, you can hear your thoughts better. In the quiet moments, you can tune into your Marcus Aurelius said, to look at your intuition, your values, and your real wants. Inside, you is the fountain of goodness, and it will always bubble up if you want it to. You may be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I do it? Before you read this, one useful tip is to look someone in the eye. It shows that you're interested and present. Ask questions not to test your knowledge, but to better understand. 3. What you've heard is a sign that you're paying attention and making sure you understand properly. Remember to actively listen and not fill in the blanks or jump to conclusions. Isn't about being inactive. It's a choice that has a lot of power. Take part in the world around you. Quality over number, depth over superficiality. If you work on this trait, you'll see something amazing, and people will want to be around you. Because in a way, they'll trust you more, open up to you, and value your company. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, you're giving people something special. How valuable the gift of real. Chapter 3. Getting calm inside. When we look at people who don't talk as much, we notice something important about them. When the world is full of noise and chaos, being calm on the inside, these traits are like lighthouses, steady and strong. They lead others to safety. What is inner calm? It's not the same thing as being emotionless or emotionally distant. Instead, it's about finding in yourself a place of peace and strength. That stays the same no matter what life throws at you. It's about how you react. To the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Take life's challenges with calm instead of reacting with anger." Friends, it doesn't matter what happens to you as long as you deal with it well. Comes from realizing that even though we can't change things, we can still be calm. We have complete control over how we react to things that happen outside of us. This you're in traffic and running late for a big meeting, the old you. You may have cursed under your breath as you honked the horn and let your stress and anger out. Take over, but you stay relaxed and take a deep breath. You tell yourself, getting mad won't make the traffic go faster. Instead, use this time to learn something. To get ready for your meeting or practice mental awareness. This calm inside isn't. Getting along with small, bothersome things is a talent that can help you. Handle life's biggest problems with ease and respect when you speak. When you stress less and work on your inner peace, you become calm as a rock in a fast-moving river. The problems of water life may move around you, but you stay strong. Unmoved. So how do we improve this trait? Here are some ideas inspired by the Stoics, ones who regularly practice negative thinking. Picture themselves losing the things you care about. This makes you value what you already have and gets you ready. You should prepare for possible failures and focus on what you can control. Dividing things you can change into things you can't change and things you can. Don't worry about things you can change. 3. Embrace pain and put yourself in it on purpose. This makes you stronger and helps you stay calm in tough conditions. When really tough problems come up. 4. Take time every day to look back at what you did. Were there times when you lost your cool? Next time, you should react differently. Developing inner calm doesn't mean if you say you'll never feel bad feelings, you'll be able to understand. Marcus Aurelius said it so well. These thoughts without being controlled, you have power over your thoughts, not outside things. Understand this and you will be strong. Building up this trait will lead to a big change that won't just, you'll be more calm, which will make those around you more calm too. Presence will be a calming effect on tough scenarios and a type of silent leadership that makes other people want to follow. Chapter 4. The Power of Acting with Thought. As we talk about our fourth quality, we'll show you a trait that truly sets people who speak less apart from those who can take thoughtful in a world that often values quick responses and instant satisfaction. These people stand out by stopping to think and act. Think about it. How many times have you said something in the heat of the moment that you later wished you hadn't? Made a rushed choice that you wish you could undo? This is where the power of careful action comes in. Bridge the gap is a play about taking careful steps between emotion and action. Think about what the Stoic teacher Epictetus said. First, tell yourself what you would be. Then, do what you need to do. This, my friends, is action based on thought in short, it's about making sure that your activities are in line with your values and goals. Imagine that you are facing a big choice in your life, like a job change or a choice about a serious relationship. Instead of jumping into it, or people who don't talk as much, take a different method. They make room for they think about not only the short-term effects, but also the long-term ones. They make a choice that fits with their life goals and core values. But careful action isn't just for big choices. It's a way of life, a habit. That can change even the smallest encounters if you do more than talk. People learn that when you think about what you say and do, they mean more. Important and worth paying attention to what you say or do. So how can we? Here are some Stoic-inspired ways to develop this trait in our own lives. People who practice the pause before responding should take a deep breath. Put some time between the stimulus and the reaction, and then ask yourself why you should ask yourself before you act. Are you moving out of habit, emotion, or a real desire to do something? 3. Think about the results. Think about what might happen if you do what you're planning to do. Both short-term and long-term goals. 4. That are in line with your morals regularly. Think about your core beliefs, and make sure your actions are in line with them. 5. Embrace amarati, love your. No matter what happens because of your careful actions, accept it and learn from it. From this, keep in mind that carefully thinking and acting doesn't mean doing nothing. Being stuck by too much thought, as Seneca put it, is not the point. Luck is what happens when planning meets chance. If you think carefully, be ready to seize the right opportunities with confidence and a plan. As if you work on this trait, you'll probably see some big changes in your people may value your thoughtful answers more, which could lead to deeper relationships. If your choices are in line with what you really want, they may lead to better results, and most importantly, you'll be happy with them. Feel more in charge and like your life has a purpose. Self-confidence that can't be shaken. Stable self-confidence for life. You may be thinking what speaking less can lead to. Have more confidence. Then buckle up, because we're about to look into one of the most powerful Stoic secrets. First, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Real self-confidence it's not about being loud or taking over talks. It's not about showing off to other people. Having a strong belief in your own worth and skills no matter what other people say. As the great Stoic sage Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your thoughts, not outside things. Understand this and you will be strong." Friends, this is the essence of unshakable mindset. Think about it. When you talk less, you don't look for constant. You're not filling every silence with words to show your worth to get approval or validation from other people. Instead, it's true that you should feel good in your own skin and safe in your own thoughts. That kind of confidence that doesn't need to be said but is felt by everyone. You should picture yourself going into a room full of old people. Felt the need to speak up right away to let them know you were there, but with this new, unwavering faith that you're happy to just watch, listen, and decide. Watch when you talk, and when you do, make sure your words matter. They come from a place of inner power, not fear, so how can we grow them? This trait. Here are some activities that were inspired by the Stoics. You are in charge of your deeds, thoughts, and reactions. Stop trying to control what other people think of you and learn to accept yourself. Don't judge your skills and weaknesses. Just know them. Remember that self-confidence isn't about being perfect, means being happy with who you are. 3. Set and achieve. Setting and achieving small goals over and over again boosts confidence. 4. As a teacher, don't let mistakes make you doubt yourself. Instead, embrace them. See them as chances to grow. 5. Develop your inner conversation. Feel good about yourself and be kind to yourself. Your inner voice shapes you, your confidence on the outside. Remember that getting strong self-confidence is a process. Epictetus said that no one is free who is not in charge of himself. Speaking less and focusing on yourself more as you grow are the first steps toward true self-mastery. This trait you might notice some interesting changes. People may start to be drawn to you because of if you have quiet confidence, you may be able to handle criticism or failures better, and most importantly, you'll feel better about yourself. Find peace of mind by realizing that your worth doesn't depend on other people. Chapter 6. How to make connections that matter. Thoughts. In our highly connected world, we often mix up number and quality when it comes to relationships, we keep track of our friends and ties and networks. But people who don't talk as much have found a deep truth. It's not Stoic philosophers said that it's not how many connections you have, but how deep and important those ties are. In terms of relationships, Seneca once said that everywhere means nowhere. This tells us that if we spread ourselves too thin, we might not be able to form. When we form strong bonds, we make room for deeper, more genuine relationships. Let's say you were at a social event and the old you might have flitted around, making small talk and gathering business cards from one person to the next, but with this new method, you may have fewer conversations, but each one is more important because you listen. Ask deep, thought-provoking questions and share real ally. The effect is less. Not just casual acquaintances, but real bonds. So how do we master here? Are some strategies that were inspired by the Stoics that can help you make important connections. Quality over quantity. Take care of a few close ties instead of keeping up a lot of weak ones too. Listen actively when someone talks, give them your full attention and listen to understand, not just to answer. 3. To be vulnerable, share your real thoughts and feelings. Brings people together. 4. Value actions over words, show you care through actions, not just expressions. 5. Embrace solitude. Take some time to be alone and recover. And think about it. This makes your encounters more purposeful and important. Connections that matter aren't just about being approachable all the time or always having something to say. Say that as you gain this trait, you may see big changes in It's possible that your relationships will grow stronger and more satisfying. Yourself with people who really understand and care about you, and most. You'll feel like you fit, not because you're everywhere, but because you're here. Because you're fully there wherever you are. Chapter 7. A clear goal that never changes. As we look at the 7th trait, we're about to find out one thing that really sets people who speak less apart is a strong sense of. In a world full of distractions and short-lived trends, these people stand for something. You might be wondering how to stand out by keeping true to their core values and life mission. If you don't talk much about having a strong sense of purpose, well, friends, it's all about clarity. When we cut down on the noise in our lives, both inside and outside, we give ourselves time and room to hear our inner voice and connect with our deepest selves. Aspirations. The Stoic sage Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you need to your life yourself, one step at a time. This powerful phrase tells us that a sense of meaning isn't something we find by accident. It's something we build up by making choices. Moment by moment, picture waking up every day with a brilliant idea of what's important to you, not what other people think is important, not what your social media feed tells you is important, but what really moves you. This is the power of having a strong sense of mission when you speak less and listen more to yourself, other people, and the whispers of the universe. You start to line up your actions with your true goal. You stop being swayed by short-lived feelings or outside forces and instead move, getting through life with purpose and direction. So how can we do this? Unwavering sense of purpose. Here are some habits that were influenced by the Stoics. Define your beliefs and think about them often. What really matters? What principles do you want to live by? 2 rules. Set important goals and make sure they are in line with your morals and help you reach your bigger life goals. 3. Practice daily. Take some time every day to think about whether the things you're doing are in line with your mission. Look at challenges not as problems, but as chances to discover new things. 5. Develop apathy toward things that aren't necessary to learn. To be able to say no to things that don't help you. Keep in mind that, as Seneca said, having a reason doesn't mean having your whole life planned out, doesn't know which port one is going to and the wind isn't in your favor. Your goal is like a North Star that guides you even when the way isn't clear. Getting better at this trait can make a big difference in your life. It's easier to make choices that help you reach your main goal when you face tests. You might be happier, but most importantly, you'll feel calmer. Confidence by always doing what you. Chapter 8. Getting stronger. When we talk about our ethical trait, we pay attention to an important. In our unstable world, people who speak less are more likely to be resilient, often learned how to get back on their feet and keep their strength when things got tough. Getting better at this is very helpful in a world that seems to be always giving us problems to solve. Now you may be wondering what having less to say has to do with being strong. Well, it depends on what you do with your energy, when you're not constantly doing something. When you respond by complaining or looking for approval through words, you save your strength for what really taking on life's problems head on. As the Stoic sage Epictetus once said, "Friends, it doesn't matter what happens to you as long as you deal with it well." Has to do with building the inner strength to handle tough situations. Any storm to bend without breaking. Picture yourself going through a big loss. You've lost your job, broken up with someone, or had a health emergency. The old you is gone. You may have felt exhausted as you vented your anger to anyone who would listen. You deal with things differently now that you're stronger, though. Take a moment to think and gather your inner strength, and then you start to rebuild with quiet purpose. So how do we make this better? Amazing trait. Here are some Stoic-inspired ways to improve your resilience if you regularly do negative visualization picture. Getting your mind ready for tough situations can make natural hurdles feel less scary. If you focus on things you can change and put your energy into things you can change instead of spending time on things you can't change. 3. Accept discomfort. Putting yourself in tough situations on purpose will make you stronger. 4. Develop a growth attitude and see setbacks as chances for 5. Work on your emotional intelligence and learn from your mistakes to be aware of and control your feelings instead of letting them control you. Remember that being resilient doesn't mean you never fall down. It means you always get back up. As Marcus Aurelius said, you control your mind, not what happens in the outside world. If you understand this, you will find strength. If you work on this trait, you will have some beautiful changes happen to you. Things that seemed impossible now seem pretty easy to do. Now it might take you a little less time to get over a loss or a sinking phase. Over all else, you will find the security that comes from knowing you can handle anything. What the future has in store for you in our 9th trait, we will Chapter 9. How to get wise and keep it. Look into a trait that sets people who speak less apart from the growth of deep wisdom, while many people value quick answers and information on the surface. These people stand out because they have a deep understanding of life, and you might be wondering how talking less can lead to more talking. Wisdom, friends. It's all about making time for deep thought and reflection. If we don't keep filling the air with words, we let ourselves think. Pay attention, think, and really understand what Seneca the Elder said. It's good to know when to speak and when to be quiet. This wise saying tells us that we often learn from listening to imagine being in a heated argument with other people, the world around us, and our own inner voice. The old you might have jumped in with a quick response, eager to make your point. But with this new way of doing things, you take a moment to really listen and think different points of view. You talk less. But when you do, your words mean a lot. The weight of careful thought and deep knowledge. So what do we do? To develop this deep wisdom, here are some techniques that were inspired by the Stoics. Think critically, don't take things at face value, and ask questions. To learn new things all their lives, and to seek out deeper truths. Develop an interest in the world around you and never stop learning. 3. Take time to think every day. Schedule some quiet time for this. Your experiences and learn from them. 4. Look at things from different points of view and ideas that are different from yours. Being wise often means understanding more than 5 points of view. Use what you know in real life. Real advice it's not just about knowing things. Use what you learn in your everyday life. Remember that being wise doesn't mean having all the answers, as Socrates said. He had a big impact on Stoic thought and reportedly said, "I know that I know nothing." Often starts with being honest about our flaws and staying open to realizing that improving this trait can cause big changes in your life. You may start making better choices as you learn more about different situations. This could also lead to, mostly, becoming a trusted advisor to your coworkers and friends. As you become more aware of the world around you, you will feel calmer inside and getting around it more skillfully. Chapter 10. How to communicate powerfully. Friends, welcome to our last characteristic of the day. Today we'll talk about how important conversation that works. Talking less often leads to better communication. Let's talk about this idea some more in our never-ending chatter and knowledge. It's more important than ever to communicate with effect in the world. But here's the catch, is that saying what you mean is more important than saying how much you say. When it matters in a way that really hits home, for the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it well. If you want to get better, be happy with being thought foolish and stupid. This makes us remember that good communication often means stepping back to listen more, and only talking when we have something to say useful to add to the discussion. Picture yourself in a crucial meeting. People are talking over each other and trying to be heard, and you're watching, listening, and thinking about what you say when you talk. Your words are well thought out and exact. Because you don't waste words, people listen when you say something important. Because they know you choose your words carefully. That's the power of learning powerful. Getting along with others is a strong trait. But how do we develop it? Inspired strategies. 1. Think carefully about what you say before you speak. You should ask yourself if it's true, if it's important, and if it's kind. You should also practice Con 3. Make your position known by putting complicated ideas into simple, clear language. It's not just what you say. Your energy, tone of voice, and body language also play a role. Add to your message. 4. Know your audience. Make sure your message fits their wants. 5. Pausing is okay. Don't be afraid of it. It can help you make your point clearer and give people time to think about what you're saying. Remember that powerful communication isn't about being in charge of a talk or having the last word, as Marcus Aurelius put it. You can always choose not to have an opinion, so there's no need to get upset about things you can't change. By getting this trait, you might notice some big changes in the way your words sound. People may ask for your advice more often during conversations. Most importantly, you will feel like your inner thoughts and how you act are more in sync. Remember that talking less doesn't mean being quiet or distant. It means being careful about what you say and do, and building up your inner power and wisdom, a shine that shows. It's about putting quality over number in. Thanks for coming along with me on this trip through Stoic wisdom. These traits make you want to say less and live a more purposeful, authentic life. It's important to remember that the road of the Stoic is one of constant growth, self-improvement, so keep thinking about, learning, and acting on these strong ideas daily. Until next time, stay interested, stay strong, and most of all, don't give up. Stay true to the silent part of you.